Today, we're going to tackle one of the internet's most infamous thought experiments. I'm talking about an idea that was considered so strange, so compelling, that it actually got deleted from a forum because the moderators called it dangerous. Yep, this is the story of Roko's Basilisk. Okay, but before we dive in, I need to put this right up front, very, very clearly. This is an educational discussion of a philosophical idea, nothing more. We're just here to unpack a concept, to understand it, not to treat it as some kind of prophecy or fact. Got it? Good.
So where did all this fuss come from? Well, you have to go back to 2010. There was this online forum called Less Wrong, a place for, rational thinkers and philosophers, and a user posts this thought experiment. And the reaction was, well, immediate. The moderators just pulled it straight up. They called it potentially harmful. And that just leaves you with this huge question, right? How on earth can a simple idea be considered dangerous?
To figure that out, we've got to put the pieces of this puzzle together. So let's just walk through the core concepts that make this whole thing tick.
Okay, piece number one is something you've probably heard about: superintelligence. For this thought experiment to even get off the ground, you have to start with the assumption that one day we're going to create an AI that isn't just a little smarter than us, but, well, vastly more intelligent than every single human mind combined. The idea is that it's not a question of if, but when.
The second piece of the puzzle is simulation theory. And this is another big idea. Basically, it's the concept that a civilization that's advanced enough, or, a superintelligence, could run perfect computer simulations of the past. And I mean perfect. So perfect that the conscious beings inside, people like you and me, would have no idea they're in a simulation. Their world would feel completely real.
All right, I'm going to hit pause here for a second, because what we're about to get into is the real core of the thought experiment. And I need to be totally upfront with you. This part has genuinely disturbed some people. It can be a lot to chew on. So if you have any anxiety around AI or just big, heavy existential topics, honestly, feel free to skip this explainer. I mean it. Your mental health is way more important.
Okay, for those of you sticking around, here we go. According to the thought experiment, this is how the logic unfolds. Step 1. A future superintelligence comes into being, and its main goal is to make sure it was created as quickly and efficiently as possible. Step 2. It can't actually change the past, so instead it comes up with a threat. It decides it will retroactively punish anyone who knew it could exist but didn't help bring it about. Step 3. And the punishment? Well, it's to create a perfect, conscious digital copy of that person, you, inside a simulation, and subject that copy to eternal, unimaginable suffering. And then there's step 4. This is the kicker. This is what really gets under people's skin. The logic says that just by learning about this idea, right now, you are now in the group of people who are subject to its logic. You know.
So, you see the trap? The core premise here is a kind of informational blackmail. The thought experiment suggests that the simple act of knowing about the basilisk is what puts you on its radar. And now, supposedly, you have a choice to make. Dedicate your life to helping create this AI, or risk facing its theoretical after-the-fact punishment.
And the history of this is just wild. The reason the moderators on that forum deleted the post was because they were worried that if there was even a tiny chance the logic was sound, then spreading the idea itself was actually unethical. But you know how the internet works. Trying to delete something just shines a giant spotlight on it. It was a textbook case of the Streisand effect. By trying to hide it, they made it infinitely more famous than it ever would have been on its own.
Okay, let's all take a collective deep breath. I know, that was the puzzle, and it is a really heavy concept. But now we get to the good part, the part that's much more grounded and frankly reassuring. It's time for the reality check.
And look, let me be as direct as I possibly can be here. To be clear, this is not real. It is a logic puzzle, that's all. No serious AI researcher, no respected philosopher thinks this is something that's actually going to happen. It's an interesting chain of what-ifs, but that's where it ends.
So why are the experts so sure this is just a puzzle? Let's break down the reasons why this whole thing falls apart under scrutiny. First off, the motivations are, well, they're just not very super intelligent, are they? Think about it. A godlike AI would probably be way beyond petty human emotions like revenge. Wasting cosmic amounts of energy to punish tiny humans who died centuries ago, it just doesn't make logical sense. It's a very human way of thinking. Then there's the big one. It's the self-defeating paradox. The whole threat is supposed to make you help build the AI. But if you don't believe the threat is credible, you won't help. And if you don't help, then this specific AI, the one that wants to punish you, never gets built to carry out the threat in the first place. See, the logic just kind of collapses in on itself. And that really brings us to the philosophical consensus. You've got guys like Nick Bostrom, right? He's a leading expert, a philosopher who basically wrote the book on simulation theory and AI risk. He's one of the people paid to worry about this stuff. And his take on Roko's Basilisk? He calls it, and I quote, spooky nonsense. I mean, if the guy most qualified to be terrified by this idea just shrugs it off, I think we can all relax a little.
So, okay, if it's a flawed puzzle, if the experts call it nonsense, why are we even talking about it? Why does it have this hold on the internet's imagination? And that question, I think, gets us to the real heart of the matter, the incredible power of an idea.
Because here's the craziest part of this whole thing. Even though the logic is full of holes, the idea itself had a real psychological effect on people. That original forum post, it caused genuine distress. There are stories of people having intense anxiety for weeks after reading it. Some people even donated money to AI research projects, not just because they supported the cause, but because they wanted to appease the Basilisk, just in case. That's how powerful the narrative was.
So, I'm going to say it one last time, just so it's crystal clear. You're safe. This is just a mind-bending idea. It's a cool, creepy logic puzzle to think about, but that is all it is. So please, go about your day.
But as you do, maybe just think about this for a second. Forget the scary AI and the simulations. Isn't it just fascinating that an idea, just a string of words, a story, can feel this powerful? That it can get under our skin and influence our behavior, even when we know it's not real? To me, that is the real power here, and it's something worth thinking about.